Hello and welcome to the Jamie and Stephen Show. Let's talk movies, music and magic. This week we're talking about Mulan. However, we're going to do something a little bit different this week, aren't we?
Yeah, we're changing it up. But only because you haven't watched this properly ever.
So just in case no one's really been listening to our podcast, one, go back and re-listen to them all.
Yeah.
Mulan is not a film that I can sit through.
Or haven't been able to
I've not been able to sit through it.
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah. I've tried multiple times, but I fall asleep.
I don't know how.
So what we're going to do this week is we're going to go through all of our facts, because we've still got loads of facts, and I did enjoy researching the facts on this one.
Good.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break.
Uh-huh.
There's going to be a little bit of magic, because we're going to go away and watch the movie. And then we're going to come back and talk about our opinions. So it's fresh.
Yes. So this will be the first, since Make My Music that we've sat and watched one together.
Yes.
But we've not done it in between.
No. And Jamie is on hand. She's got multiple things that she can hit me with.
Yeah.
Make noises with.
Yeah.
Prod me with. She will keep me awake.
My laugh alone should keep you awake.
Yes. Yeah, I have heard that this film can be funny.
Right, so Mulan. Okay, so the IMDb synopsis.
Yes.
To save her father from death in the army, a young maiden secretly goes in his place and becomes one of China's greatest heroines in the process. Yeah. From
what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done a synopsis?
I have.
Oh.
I have.
Okay, even though you've not properly seen the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think, I might have a different one when we come back.
Okay.
But yet another story about an independent woman is diluted into a love story.
No,
that
I
is
wouldn't
my
say that's
before.
Okay.
That's
right.
My opinion as I'm an outsider for this film.
Okay. Right.
So that's my opinion so far. Yeah.
Right. It's an hour and 27 minutes.
Which is about an hour and 26.5 minutes too long. Carry on.
Just wait, Stephen. It's got 7.7 stars. So it's more than Hunchback. So it's got a better star rating than Hunchback.
Okay, because Hunchback wasn't a hit for me.
No, it was not.
No.
Me and Sophie gave it a 4 and you gave it a 2?
Yeah. I was only half as enthusiastic as you were.
Right. Directors. So we've got Tony Bancroft and Barry Cook. Tony Bancroft is actually an animator.
Mm-hmm.
And he's animated on Mary Poppins Returns.
Okay.
Stuart Little 2.
Okay.
And Aladdin. He was Aladdin, yeah. And Barry Cook, he's directed Arthur Christmas.
Okay.
Did you not like that?
No.
Oh, I love Arthur Christmas.
No, I went to the cinema to see
Did
it
you?
with friends when it first came out, obviously.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right.
1 out of 5.
Okay. Well, he is a visual effects animator.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he is trained in. So he did visual effects on Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his most recent projects was Klaus. Brilliant film. But then again, I like Arthur Christmas, so you probably wouldn't like it.
I do like some films, Black Cauldron.
Writers. Right, now, I didn't write them all because once again, there's 32.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And the funny thing is, I'm sure we said how, the Black Cauldron's got 20 odd.
Yeah.
And it's getting more and more.
Yeah.
Obviously, understanding how the process is done, it's because they do give credit to anyone who's had any input in the story at all. It doesn't matter at what point. I've sort of separated them this time. Mm-hmm. So Bernie Mattinson, again, is credited as somebody part of the story team. And he was credited... I think I've mentioned him loads in the Renaissance.
Gonna say,
Linda Wolverton.
Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, and The Lion King.
Yeah.
So,
bless her, she did.
Joe Grant?
Yes. Stole my facts.
Sorry. Chris Williams, he goes on to work on Big Hero 6 and Moana.
Oh, well, we can't hold that against him.
Whereas The screenplay, I just put a couple of names on here. Rita Seo, she did the screenplay for Toy Story 2 and the Mighty Ducks series. Chris Sanders, now you know him.
Yeah.
He goes on to do Lilo and Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
Most recent, Wild Robot, which was brilliant. Best animated film of 2024, as far as I'm concerned. Philip Lasbrook. I'm sorry if I've not pronounced that right. Pocahontas, Prince of Egypt, and El Dorado.
So he jumped ship.
He did jump ship.
Yes.
Yeah, Raymond Singer and Eugenia Bustridge Singer. Husband and wife. They were also part of the team. But there's loads of names, so they're just a handful. Did you want to...
So I can go a bit of background about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame we didn't have Sophie on this episode.
Oh.
Because Mulan started in the parks.
Did it?
So, in MGM Studios, so Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Originally, there was an animation studio in the park.
Yes.
With windows that you can watch things being animated.
I have heard of this, yeah.
So they did shorts and they did some extra work. You mentioned was it Barry Cook? Have I got...
Yeah, yes, the director.
This is where he was based.
Okay.
And he did extra little bits of work on like Aladdin, Lion King, like you said. So 1993 is like a pinnacle year for Mulan. In Florida, Disney executives were convinced that they're going to allow this team to make their own independent animated film. So this wasn't necessarily going to be a animated classic. It could have been a straight to video. It could have been like Tinkerbell or a Goofy movie. That kind of thing where it sits...
That budget.
Yeah. But basically that decision was made.
Okay.
Also in 1993, Disney Feature Animation was looking into producing a film set in Asia. Elsewhere in Disney, there was a children's author called Robert D. Sansush. Suki or Sushi. I do apologize if I've said that wrong. He was helping Disney Animation to produce a direct-to-video animated film called China Doll. It was Thomas Schumacher that said, I quite like this story. Have you got any more? And he said, well, I'm actually working on a version of a legend of Fa Mulan. 3 separate words.
Yep.
Basically, at this point, all 3 merged together because Barry Cook, as part of the Florida team, was then said, would you like this Scottish folk tale about a dragon? Or we've got this Mulan thing.
Right.
And he basically said, well, I know about Chinese dragons and how much more important they are in China and Chinese culture. So why don't we put that dragon into the Mulan story?
Right, okay.
That's where the team started.
Yeah.
So this is the first animated film to be done by Disney outside of California.
Right, okay.
In 1994, after a lot of planning, so the story had slightly changed. Originally, it was going to be a little bit like Mulan's been betrothed to Shang Li.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to do that, so she defied her father, didn't want to marry him, cut her hair, joined the army.
Right.
Then what they decided was that, and it was one of the animators that came on, he was very much like, let's have it where she respects her father and wants to do it because of the love for her father, rather than this kind of pseudo
this
romance thing. On the back of that, they cut scenes when Mulan was a child, because when she was a child in those scenes, she was going to have a bit of a fascination with soldiers and warriors.
Okay.
Which they thought that it would give a second reason why Mulan went to go join the army. And they just wanted it to be out of love for her father.
Yeah.
Also in 1994, a group of key people for this film went to China for 3 weeks.
Wow.
The Great Wall of China, there was a fascination with the distance and how the flags are placed on there.
Yeah.
The landscape, a lot of the architecture, and a lot of the drawings, the classic Chinese drawings. And what they decided was to set it within the Ming dynasty.
Right, okay.
Because there's no set time period of when Mulan takes place. It's a folk story.
Yeah, but like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much like Robin Hood.
We kind of set it with the Crusades. There are different variations where that happens. So when they got the Ming dynasty, that's when they had quite a lot of... So when you see Chinese drawings and they've got very much a undetailed background, it's like a flick of a brush and that's the tree.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing that they wanted to do with Mulan. Once they'd kind of got that point done, they needed to create quite a lot of crowd scenes. So to create the 2,000 Hun soldiers, the production team created a crowd simulation software called Attila, which I think is a brilliant name.
Yeah.
Attila for the Hun.
Yeah.
And then at the end, for the battle, there was another kind of altered version of that software, which was called Dynasty.
Oh.
There's a few other ones that they used, but a lot of the rendering was done by the Pixar studios, which obviously at this point had done Toy Story.
Bugs Life, I think, released this same year as Mulan, so
it is. So
we've been working on that.
That is kind of the overall making of, basically, of how it came to be.
Yeah. Right, the cast.
The cast.
Okay. Now, I know you haven't watched as many movies as I have, right? So, for me, as a movie lover, this is actually a really impressive cast, and probably, I think, one of the most impressive casts in this Renaissance, just because of who they are, and like some of them are still going now.
Right, all I'm going to say is Chicken Little has a really impressive cast.
Right. I know, it's such a
it doesn't make
underwhelming film.
Yeah.
We'll start with the heroine, Mulan. Because obviously this film, like most of the Renaissance films, I remember so much about when it came out. I remember, you know, the hype, the merch, the trailers, all of that. And I remember when I found out the voice of Mulan. And I was so excited because at the time I'd gotten really into ER, and she plays Deb in ER.
Yeah.
And I think I'd just not long seen the Joy Luck Club as well. So yeah, I was so happy that, you know, she was Mulan, and she was beautiful, and she does look like Mulan.
Yeah.
So Ming-Na Wen, and yeah, I mentioned ER, Joy Luck Club. She also played Chun-Li in the Street Fighter film. She was one of my favorite characters in the game. And recently, she has gotten a new fan following for playing Fennec Shand in Boba Fett and The Mandalorian. She's also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
Yeah, there's quite a few in jokes where they do like about her being Mulan. Right. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've listened to a podcast with her being interviewed, and she does still get obviously asked about Mulan, but she's older than she looks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she's now, you know, classed as middle-aged. She's in her 50s, and she's gotten like what would you say, a resurgence in popularity from Star Wars, and she loves playing Fennec. She loves the Star Wars fans. She loves being part of that universe. And she'll go to like conventions and stuff. I can't wait to see what she brings next, and if she gets another big role or big character in another franchise, because, yeah, I'm a big fan.
So I know she was made a Disney legend in 2019, so that's quite recent. But one thing, now I haven't seen the remake of this.
Oh, okay.
She has a cameo.
Yeah, she does have a
She's the guest
cameo.
of honor
Yes.
in the remake.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So she doesn't do her singing.
No.
Her singing is done by Leah Salonga,
Mm-hmm.
who was...
We recognise that name.
Yes. So yeah, she was Jasmine's singing voice.
Mm-hmm.
Leah Salonga did actually audition to play Mulan's speaking voice as well.
Okay.
But her speaking voice wasn't deep enough.
Okay.
Yeah. They wanted Mulan's so that when she played Ping,
she could do
voice. And Leah just couldn't get a good, like, low enough. She still sounded too perky, you know. But they said, look, will you at least do her singing voice? And she said yes. So either way, she wanted to be part of the film, and she's not got like a lot of singing to do. No. She's got reflection, and then
the odd bit.
But yeah.
So with Mulan, she is the first Disney princess to have her surname mentioned in the film.
Yeah, because it's Fa Mulan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's also the second princess to have both parents alive throughout the film. And the first one is Princess Aurora.
Yeah.
Mulan may be left-handed.
Yes.
The reason why, because she does everything with her left hand apart from hold the sword.
Yeah.
And that's because Chinese training
would have been
is right-handed.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, same with
Shang-Li.
Mm-hmm. He does everything left-handed and does that right. But he may be ambidextrous.
Yeah.
He may be a lot of fluid things, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Tia Carrere. She voiced Nani in Lilo and Stitch. She was considered as the speaking part for Mulan.
Oh, okay.
And what film is it? What film poster is in Nani's bedroom in Lilo and Stitch?
Is it Mulan?
It's Mulan.
Oh my god.
And a lot of people say, oh, it's to show that she is a strong, independent woman. Which, yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
But it's likely
more like an Easter egg, like, oh, she auditioned for that role.
Yeah, because it's in...
Because with Chris Sanders being involved in both, he would have thought, oh, we'll put that in for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the film, Mulan touches her hair a lot. And that's because the actress did when performing the lines.
Bit like Paige O'Hara, how she always...
Yeah, she had that little...
That bit.
This bit of hair that I'm holding now. Yes, I have a bell hair.
Yeah. A bell hair.
Ping.
Yes.
The drag king name, shall we call them?
The
male counterpart name.
Yes, yeah. Her coverage.
Her covering name. In Chinese and in the way it's written, actually translates into flower pot, which is a slang term for an effeminate man.
Ooh, and her Mulan is magnolia, isn't it? Doesn't it mean... So if Ping's flower pot and Mulan's a flower, like magnolia...
Yes.
There you go.
Look at that.
I know, they are clever, aren't they?
They are with that. You may carry on.
Okay, so now we can get to Mushu.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So Mushu is voiced by Eddie Murphy.
Who?
Whatever. And this was first voice acting role. He'd never done a voice acting role before. No, and obviously goes on to do Donkey.
Yes. I can't believe that you couldn't do a good Scottish accent. Like,
whatever.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on your family. Shame on your cow. I don't really know that quote.
Well, you'll know it by the end of the film.
I will do. I'll make a note.
Yeah. So for those who don't know who Eddie Murphy is, Beverly Hills Cops.
Yeah.
No, Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Shrek, which we've said.
Yeah.
Nutty Professor.
Yes. Do you know what? Yes, it is. Yeah.
There's so many. Coming to America, Trading Places. He's actually done Coming to America 2, which I think is on Netflix.
So my first introduction to Eddie Murphy was Dr. Dolittle.
Oh, yeah.
And then watching that, it was The Nutty Professor and then Shrek.
Yeah.
Obviously Mulan I didn't come to till later.
Okay.
And Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, Haunted Mansion. Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
Did you have any character facts?
I did. So Mushu
Uh-huh.
is named after a pork dish called. Any guesses?
Dragon? Little dragon?
Mushu.
Mushu. Oh, okay.
Mooshu. Mushu.
Okay.
Other considerations for the part, because obviously they wanted to replicate the Robin Williams.
Right.
Spectacular.
Okay. As with the side cut.
Yeah. Steve Martin. I get that.
Yeah.
I get it. Sinbad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Joe Pesci.
Pesci. Yeah.
Him.
From Lethal Weapon.
I
Goodfellas.
genuinely, I had
Home
to
Alone?
have a look what he looks like.
Yeah.
Who was he in Home Alone? One of the
Sticky Bandits. Yeah, the White Bandits.
Oh yeah, no, he should have got the part.
Do you think?
Yeah.
He could have played Mushu.
Yeah. He's a character actor in Home Alone. I don't know who he is.
Oh, okay.
The one who does the
The one that burns his hand. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Chris Rock.
Oh, yeah.
And I get that because of the Madagascar films.
Yes.
I can see it. I can see that. He was going to have a song.
Yeah, fact stealing, Stephen.
Okay, I'll leave that with you. Eddie Murphy was not able to reprise the role as Mushu in Mulan 2.
Oh, is there a reason why?
Yes, he had a contract for Shrek.
Damn it! That
and
donkey!
They weren't allowed. So, Mark Moseley replaced him for Moana 2. When Eddie Murphy was
you mean Mulan 2?
Mulan 2, sorry. What did I say?
Moana.
When Eddie Murphy was not available to voice Donkey, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
In the video games.
For Shrek.
Mark
Moseley
came along.
Oh, God.
And voiced Donkey in the video games.
Okay.
Ding, next.
Right, Shang-Li.
Yes.
Okay, the hunka burning love. I don't know why that was so
I
bad.
don't get the thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm more of an Eric and Naveen.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Shang-Li.
Yes, no. Naveen.
That chest. And the
hair
tied back.
So when we worked together, they obviously brought out the Prince dolls.
Yeah.
And I thought Naveen was quite nice. And I was obviously collecting the dolls. And when I got that Naveen doll, I was like, oh, he's handsome in doll form.
See, I had a Shang-Li doll.
Yeah, well, I would have had as well.
Yeah, I had a Shang-Li and a Mulan. Yeah, so Shang-Li is speaking voice is BD Wong. Right? He's not had any necessarily like big lead roles, but you do know him.
Okay.
Right. So he is Frank's assistant in Father of the Bride.
Not seen it.
Oh! He plays the doctor or the scientist that's responsible for the whole mixing the DNAs to create the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
Is that him?
Yes.
Oh.
And he's also in the film Madame Butterfly.
Do you know what? I don't get the appeal of Shang-Li, but...
BD Wong?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Singing voice is Donny Osmond.
Yes.
Now, it's so weird because...
I really want to sing Puppy Love.
The singing voice goes so well with the speaking voice.
So I thought that he was also the voice of Shang-Li.
Right.
I was today years old.
Okay.
I thought
so this is brand new information.
This is brand new Disney information for me. Every day's a school day.
I thought they did really well in matching those two voices. Yeah, and if you don't know, Donny Osmond is part of, I think he's the youngest boy in the Osmond family. They were a singing family. They've been going since the 60s, I think. My mum
I think it's the 70s, but early 70s.
Yeah.
I think they did Crazy Horses.
Yes.
Puppy Love.
Yeah.
Friends fans. when Monica and Ross sing "I'm a little bit country,
Yes.
I'm a little rock and roll."
Yeah.
That is
Osmond.
Donnie and Marie.
Yeah.
Osmond.
Yeah. They had their own show, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Donnie Marie's show.
Yes, in the Cantonese and Mandarin dubs, it's Jackie Chan.
Yes, it is.
That's still a fact.
Yes, you did, because it's part of my music facts.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay.
So he wears a necklace.
Yes.
The yin and yang.
Uh-huh.
He wears the yin version, the yin side.
The male.
The female.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
So it's the black with the white dot.
Yes. And JD Wong?
BD Wong.
BD Wong, sorry.
The speaking voice.
Said that the word fluid wasn't a word at that time, but since he's been asked, he's like, yes. That he was fluid in many ways. So, you know, when I mentioned the left hand, right hand thing?
Yeah.
Same thing. The design, his kind of features, the way that he doesn't react.
Yeah.
Or the way that basically he's got the arse that it turns out Ping is a woman.
Yeah.
It's all part of the character that he was building.
Okay.
That praise should be there. Disney were not hiding that.
No.
I will give it credit there.
Yeah.
I will give that film credit there. I look forward to watching that bit.
Good. Before we move on to the next character, I've just remembered for the listeners, just so you know, what we've recorded this a lot earlier compared to like when you're listening to it. And it's currently Chinese New Year.
Yes, it is.
And it's the year of the snake.
Oh, Aladdin. That's another.
I know. Yes. What animal were you?
I'm a horse.
I'm a tiger.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Finlay's a rooster.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Jacob's a goat.
Oh.
Yeah, that's like middle.
Oh, I only knew mine because we had to do the play where you cross the river and we all had to make masks of what we were.
Oh,
and I was a horse. Because the rat jumps on.
I think we made our own calendars, and that was how I found out mine.
Yeah.
At school.
So, for those listening, it's a bit late, but Kong Hei Fa Choi.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Yeah. We would say Happy New Year, but I think it has a different.
And let us know what your animal is.
Yeah.
The year you were born.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love.
Because really, I could be Pegasus. You're Shere Khan.
Or am I Raja?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, either way, you're not in the majority of the film.
Okay, right. Getting back to
Mulan.
The Lee family.
Yes.
So his father, General Lee, is voiced by James Shigeta. He was Takagi, the owner of Nakatomi Tower in Die Hard, which you have not seen.
No.
Typical. Shan Yu, the baddie.
Yes.
The villain. He is voiced by Miguel Ferrer.
Am I supposed to know that name?
Well, when I mention the things that he's been in, one of the things he's been in, you should know who he is. So, he was a main character in the Crossing Jordan series. He's in Robocop, Twin Peaks, and he had a guest appearance on Will and Grace.
So yes, that's why I know him then.
Yeah, that's how you know him.
I've got two little character facts about him. So his eyes are most likely tattooed black, which is something you can get done even today. Tattoo your eyes? Yes. You inject ink into the white bit and it dyes your eyes black.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. It's not a look that I personally like.
No.
But I wouldn't necessarily judge anyone either. And Chang Yu is one of the very few characters in this film that doesn't look down on Mulan purely because she's a woman.
Yeah, oh, that's right, yeah.
In fact, he realizes that Shang Li doesn't really matter. And he goes to kill Mulan. He changes his whole thing because he sees her as a threat.
Yeah.
So really, he's the only one that respects her for who she is, rather than looks at her gender first. So, are we saying he's a villain? Obviously, I can't quote what he does. Apparently, he's got the highest death count on screen.
Yes.
Apparently, this film has the highest death count. Maybe he's not the villain. We shall see.
No, when you watch the movie, you'll see why he's the villain.
Okay.
Yeah. The Emperor.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Emperor is voiced by Mr. Miyagi.
From
yes, Karate Kid.
Yeah. I've never
Morita.
Seen.
Oh. Yeah, Pat Morita. Yeah. Right. Chi Fu. He's the one that is there marking Shang Li and how he's doing with the training.
Okay.
He's like he's reporting back to the Emperor on how it's going, right? And he's played by James Hong, who is, oh my God, he's had to do all the stereotype characters. You know, he's that old and he's got that long of a career in film. He's played all them, and then obviously as he's gotten older, when filmmakers have gotten better with
enlightened,
yes, he's gotten more respectable roles as he's gotten older. But he's Big Trouble in Little China, so he plays Po's dad, so the goose that brings him up in Kung Fu Panda. He runs the noodle shop. And one of his most recent roles is the dad in Everything and Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, it's definitely not the person I'm thinking of.
Matchmaker.
She is just the delicious
British legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like up there with Judi Dench and Julie Walters.
The stupendous.
Yes. It's Marion Margolyes.
Yes.
Professor Sprout.
Professor Sprout.
In Harry Potter.
I know her more as the Beep the Meep, basically, in Doctor Who.
Okay, of course. Doctor Who had to get in there.
Yeah, it's got to sneak her in. But I have seen her in multiple different things.
Oh, I mean, Graham Norton has her on all the time.
Oh, I'm in tears
as
with
a guest.
some of her things
yeah, she's so funny.
Says. Yeah.
Mulan's family. Right, so Fa Zhu is voiced by Soon Tek Oh. He was a villain in The Man with the Golden Gun, which is a James Bond film. And he was also in Beverly Hills Ninja. Fa Li, so her mum, is played by Frida Fo Shen. And she's been in Star Trek, Basic Instinct, ER, and most recently 911. That series. Yeah, she's been in loads. Grandmother Fa. Right, so her speaking voice is by June Foray, and she's the only voice actress, like professional voice actress in this film. And she's done multiple, but I just wrote 2. She's done voices on Who Framed Roger Rabbit and DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Woo! Right. Ya, or Yao, Yo. So one of the friends the group that she is in the army with is voiced by Harvey Fierstein.
So is this the gruff person?
Yes!
I have been waiting.
Right, so Torch Song Trilogy.
No idea what
Okay, well that was a play, and then it was made into a movie.
Okay.
Mrs. Doubtfire. He plays Daniel's brother, who does the Mrs. Doubtfire's face. And the last one I've wrote down is The First Ancestor, and that is voiced by George Takei. Did I say that right?
I don't know, but Less Than Summer Wine is where I actually know him from.
Oh, what? George Takei?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you didn't watch Star Trek. See, I did.
No, you see, I didn't watch the original ones. I watched Next Generation.
No, see, I watched the original. I love the films.
No.
So yeah, and I've written in capitals, gay icon. So that's the main. That's the main
Yeah,
voice
yeah.
and characters.
I had one other little fact about Cri-Kee.
Oh yeah, the cricket.
Yes. Nobody wanted him in this film.
Why?
So he was designed by Joe Grant,
Okay.
and Michael Eisner was a big advocate for this character.
Mm-hmm.
And the animator, which unfortunately I didn't write his name down, I ran out of time, but the animator for Cri-Kee wanted him in the film, obviously. However, in every storyboard meeting, everything, they basically just wanted to cut him. He played no part in the film whatsoever, and at certain meetings he is quoted to say, "What the F is the cricket doing?" And it's like, can't we just cut him? But Joe Grant used to slip designs and sketches and little things underneath about
Mhm.
what this cricket would be doing,
Mm-hmm.
underneath like the animator's door,
Yeah.
and that would get animated. Michael Eisner loved it. I think Roy E. Disney didn't,
Okay.
but he was the one that suggested that Mulan should have animal
Companions,
because basically
it's like a
it's a
Disney
Disney
ingredient.
trope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I would say that the cricket is as much as a Mulan companion as Mushu, in the
Mm-hmm.
same way that Abu and the genie is for Aladdin. So yeah, that was my only other little
Okay.
character.
I mean, crickets are good luck. I mean, they're very.
Yeah,
They're
I
important in their culture, so it had to be in there.
yeah, I think story wise, it
Yeah.
was just not needed.
The
Or
dog is. I
the
thought the
dog, I
good
didn't
that.
even know that the dog existed.
Yeah, so I'm
Right?
glad that they did what they did with the dog. So in one of the versions of Mulan's stories, so one of the legends,
Hmm.
she has a little brother. And rather than have him
Yeah.
part of the story, they make the dog and his name is Little Brother.
So I have a fact about little brother. In Tarzan,
Uh-huh.
when the apes are jiggling Professor Porter,
Yeah.
a plush falls from his pocket. That plush is
A
little
little
brother.
brother. Oh. I had a beanie.
I didn't know what I have no
Uh,
idea, and I'd seen this
yeah.
image.
We had a Mushu beanie, a Little Brother beanie, and I think we had a cricket as well.
Yeah, because I didn't really do anything with the film, so I've
Uh,
never really known what this
oh,
dog
again, we had
was.
everything. Like the dolls, the toys.
I was just the thing is when this came out, 98, I'd have been 8 years old,
Yeah.
going on for 9,
Right.
and it was a princess film or considered a
Mm.
princess film.
Yeah,
We,
but an action one.
I know, but at the same time we had Bug's Life, Toy Story.
Yeah.
Straight after this, almost instantly,
Mm-hmm.
we had Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I kind of stopped
Mm.
with Disney for a while.
Mm-hmm.
El Dorado came out.
Yeah.
We had Anastasia.
Yeah.
There was other
Uh-huh.
animated films
Yeah. We did the
around.
same.
That killed Disney for me.
Mhm.
That and the when I kind of got back into Disney was working at the Disney
Yeah.
store.
Yeah, me too.
So
Yeah.
Mulan kind of just missed the boat for me,
Okay.
and I was still on Hercules.
Right.
I loved Hercules,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
I was still on that, and we
Mhm.
kept having the re-releases as well of
Mhm.
like Lady and
The
the
older
Tramp,
yeah.
101
Yeah.
Dalmatians. So Mulan just
And DVDs were now coming out.
yeah, I mean this was one of the first,
Yeah.
and yeah, I wasn't bothered about
Mm.
that.
Right. Music.
Music.
Yeah. So I'll run through the songs. I'll try and not sing too much.
Okay.
Right. So the first one,
Shall I nip out?
Honor to Us All.
Mhm.
Then we've got Reflection. Then I'll Make a Man Out of You, which is probably the best song in
What? Not
the
to be fair, I do prefer the Christina version of Reflection.
yeah, I love Christina's version. A Girl Worth Fighting For. And then I'll Make a Man Out of You reprise. And then the credit songs are True to Your Heart. You must be true to your heart.
So am I right in saying that? So I've seen up to "I'll Make a Man Out of You" in this film,
Oh, okay. So you had one more song to go.
which was
A girl worth fighting for.
No, I have seen that.
Okay.
So maybe that is where I've got up to in the film.
Okay.
But there's no more songs after that.
No, but there's a reason. So it's done deliberate.
Okay.
But you'll know when we watch it.
Okay.
So it's quite good how they did that. And then yeah, so you've got the True to Your Heart end credit, which is our end credit songs, and then the Reflection pop version, which was sung by Christina Aguilera.
That's her first hit, wasn't it?
It
Not
was...
Genie in the Bottle.
No, it wasn't. Who was this? Yes.
I feel like Bridget Jones.
Right. The writing team.
Mm-hmm.
So the score overall was done by a man, Jerry Goldsmith, I think his name was Goldsmith. But the music was written by Matthew Wilder and the lyricist was David Zeppi.
So we have no Mencken
No.
on this whatsoever.
So Wilder was discovered by Disney Scouts.
Okay.
At a theatre festival in Canada. Okay. So this was his big break, basically. Yeah. And he worked on the remake of Mulan. Although there's no singing in that film, the songs are musically scored throughout in the background. It's very well done. But anyway, David Zeppel worked with Mencken on Hercules. So he was the lyricist on Hercules. Okay. So he's come from that. Yeah. He's also lyricist for The Swan Princess. Okay. And he's worked on the music for Captain America, the first Avenger film. Yep. He's a pop songwriter as well. So he's written songs that's sung by Christina Aguilera, Stevie Wonder, Ricky Martin. Ooh. Yes. Right. Music facts. Yep. You mentioned earlier Jackie Chan.
Yes. Right. That's all I said.
Yeah. So remember how I said he sang the Beauty and the Beast? Not only does he voice Shang Li in the Chinese release, he also, because he's a successful singer in Asia, he did a music video for I'll Make a Man Out of You.
Okay.
And yeah, the song Reflection, it was going to be much longer in the original cut of the film. In the deleted scene, she also removes her sashes. So she's removed her makeup and whatnot. And you see her remove her sash. And you see her riding Can, the horse, through mountains and paddy fields. So yeah, but that was cut. To be fair, I don't think it needed to be that long. So I'm glad they cut it.
The writing on the stones.
Yes.
Is the animators and all the people involved, it's their names but in Chinese.
Ooh.
And it's written on the stones and in reflections and things like that.
Okay. When Disney paired Zeppel and Wilder in an Entertainment Weekly interview back in 1998, Zeppel recalls it as the best blind date I've ever had. He then goes on to say, my go-to references were Rodgers and Hammerstein and Lerner and Lowe and Gilbert and Sullivan. There were so many other references that had taken the Asian motive and brought it into the 20th century, and I was leaning heavily on anything and everything I could get my hands on. Zeppel says the experience of writing the score for an animated film is actually very similar to the process of writing a stage musical. Zeppel and Wilder would meet with the production team to go over storyboards, hash out which moments needed songs or were natural fits for musicalization, go off and create a demo, which would be set to animation, and make tweaks from there. This meant writing and rewriting songs, occasionally tossing things out the window altogether. The theme song in the opening credits, as well as the melody for Honor to Us All, is the same tune as Peter Pan plays on his pan flute. The doo-doo.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know.
That is, yeah.
I know.
Oh, I like that fact. Oh, that's it now.
That was a good one. Mulan will be the last animated musical until Princess and the Frog, 11 years later.
Yeah.
So you won't be hearing me sing. Well, I'm sure I'll slip in some singing.
I was going to say, have we not got Tarzan?
Yeah, but it's not classed as a musical.
No.
Because they don't sing. Yeah. They don't do the singing.
And then we got Build-A-Bear.
Again, they don't do the singing to the... Right. Grandma Fa. So she has a speaking voice and a singing voice.
Yeah.
So her singing voice is voiced by Marnie Nixon, who provided the singing voice for Audrey Hepburn's character in My Fair Lady.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mulan was the last film she lended her singing voice to. So yeah,
a good cast.
Yeah, a really good cast. Right, at one point, Stephen Schwartz was lined up to be the lyricist. When he couldn't do it, that was when David Chappelle was sort of said, "Oh, look, I know you've just done Hercules, but..."
Hercules.
Yeah. During the song, Honor to Us All, the women sing, "A girl can bring her family great honor in one way, but
remember
striking
2 lines or
a
more."
good match." So that's it. By striking a good match, while they mean a husband, it foreshadows... Obviously, spoiler alert for you, Stephen, I'm afraid, but it is what it is. It foreshadows how Mulan... I know you do, I'm sorry. I say it all the time as well.
I really just want to turn this podcast off and just have a word.
Yeah, Stephen despises the saying, "It is what it is."
Yeah.
I love it.
No, do you know what? She's just said it to tell you what I absolutely hate, and my spine's just gone.
So, in that song, it's because they're trying to find her a good match, a husband.
Yeah.
But it foreshadows...
the ending.
Yeah, no, what she does.
Okay.
How she uses firepower
ending.
Into incidents.
There's a firework. I know there's a firework.
It's not just that, but yeah, you'll know what I mean when you watch it. But yes. Mushu originally had a song.
Yes,
yeah,
he did. Yes, I let you have that fact.
It was called Keep 'Em Guessing.
Yeah.
And the reason it was cut was because Eddie Murphy wouldn't sing. He said, "I'll do the voice, but I am not singing."
Which is weird because he sings.
He has had songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that he's not a singer. He just didn't want to sing. He didn't want his character to sing. So they cut it. Yes, we mentioned earlier, Reflection was Christina Aguilera's first hit, and due to its success, she got a record deal with RCA. Chappelle, Wilder, and Goldsmith were nominated for an Academy Award for this film for Best Original Score. A song called China Doll was featured in the demo versions of the movie, but was replaced with Honor to Us All. I'll make a man out of you. So,
will you?
I will.
Well.
Daisy Ridley, so the actress that plays Rey.
Yeah, Star Wars.
She often played this song to get hyped up just before shooting a lightsaber scene. And you'll know why when we watch the film. And I love it. It's the best song, I think, in the...
Okay.
Yeah. It's the drums. You know? If I sing along while we're watching it, Stephen, it's just tough. So, Reflection. Now, it's a common theme with Disney. And we can't blame Katzenberg for this time because he ain't there anymore.
Nope.
But Reflection nearly got cut. And again, it was the main ballad. And Chappelle and Wilder had to fight tooth and nail.
You see,
to keep it in.
A Disney film needs a ballad.
Yeah.
To be a soundtrack, it needs the ballad.
Yeah, it needs a ballad. And the what do they call it? The protagonist. They need a song.
Yeah. It should always be there's the I Want song.
Yeah.
And it's, they are the songs.
Yeah. Well, Chappelle recalls a meeting. So he was at a dinner party 10, 15 years after the film. Obviously, he spoke to many people. And one of them, their son, was with them. And he said, "Oh, am I right that you wrote the music for Mulan?" And he said, "Yes, I did." And he says, "Oh, Reflection is my favourite song and that saved me." And he was like, "Oh, why?" And he says, "Well, I'm gay and I struggled when I was a teenager to tell my mum and dad. And when I listened to the song and the lyrics, you know, when will my reflection show who I am inside? That gave me the courage to come out to my parents.
Round of applause.
I know. And he said after hearing that story, he loved the song even more. Like he was so much more prouder of the song. Right. A girl worth fighting for. With all of its irony, it was a comedy song. It doesn't end. It just stops. And it's a very powerful moment. And obviously there will be no more singing after that. Right. True to your heart. You must be true to your heart.
Jamie's having way too much. Is this what you do on Saturday nights?
Yes.
Just sit there and sing the
this is why I do Tim Finlay. Yeah. He'll say something and I'll be like, when he says to me, Mum, how do you know that? And I'll be like, how do you know?
To be fair, I do certain things like, especially when people say, if Luke's trying to watch something, it's like a serious thing on TV and I'm just in and out the room, and like, say if they'll say something like, I've got a feeling that tonight's gonna it's like, you know, and I will just pick up, and there's been times when he's literally just paused it and been like, are you done? That's our life.
I know. Saddles.
I know. I can't wait to bring a child into that.
It brings us joy. My new thing is singing Popular.
Yeah, you just have to.
Popular. It's like, stop, Mum. Yeah. True to Your Heart was originally penned for Hanson.
Oh, they grew up well.
They did. Yes. But the deal didn't happen. So Zappel and Wilder were asked to tweak the song and make it, you know, give it a bit more of a different...
Yeah.
So they had obviously a really poppy version. Wilder, I think it was, thought, right, let's give it like a Stevie Wonder vibe. And then when they tweaked it and gave it that feel, I don't know who contacted who, but Stevie Wonder then came on board. When the day came for Stevie to come into the studio, right, they didn't know exactly what he was going to do. They were just hoping he would maybe do a bit of harmonica playing, right? But when he heard the song, he said, I really like this and I want to sing on it. And they were like, amazing! And he said, this song sounds like a song I would have written and sung in 70s.
Well, look forward to that, then.
So it's him and 98 Degrees. And 98 Degrees was supposedly a big hit in America. They weren't a hit in the UK. Right, so my last fact, it's back to that Entertainment Weekly interview. So Broadway, right? So this interview was published in 2018, right? And it's Zappel. When asked if they would take it on Broadway, he is quoted as saying, there's something being chit-chatted in back rooms right now that we're not at liberty to talk about. We have a deep, deep, deep passion for this piece. We would love to have the opportunity to expand the score and see it up on stage. It would be a dream. Now, obviously, that's now going on 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And we have had nothing.
But we got Hercules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking, has there been something going on in the background that we're not aware of yet? Because to me, I think Hercules just come out of nowhere. I had no idea that was coming to the West End. It's just all of a sudden, tickets are on sale. And I was like, what?
Oh, no, I knew. But then some of it was a bit like, because there was a live action room.
Well, I remember during COVID, because of TikTok becoming, people were doing, this is my dream cast if they ever do a live action of Hercules.
Yeah.
But I never really read it about going on Broadway or on the West End. It was always about the live action. So
because it was on in Germany first.
Yeah, well,
And
that's
they've
what
had-
Sophie said, wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was on in
Um,
Germany, and then it's moving over here.
Yeah.
Basically.
So maybe if the Germans get Mulan, that's a good sign
Maybe.
that it might come. So yes. So no, that is me.
Well, there
So on
was a
to you.
musical of Mulan called Mulan Junior.
Okay. Isn't this for schools?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it includes the cut song that you mentioned.
Oh,
for
the
Mushu.
oh, okay.
Um,
Well, they need more than 4 songs.
yeah,
Stephen,
might need a better plot as well.
just
I don't
you
know
wait.
it actually. I don't know what the plot is. Hidden Mickeys.
Okay.
So Shang's horse. Basically, there's some spots on his neck and on his rump, and some of those are Mickey head shaped.
Ooh.
Also, the first time that the soldiers use rockets, you can see Mickey shapes. Obviously featured in Wish at the end. In the
Yes.
stars. We also mentioned, just to link some of the facts that we've got, A Bug's Life did come out the same year, which beat it to the top spot. So basically, Bug's Life was first and Mulan was second in the top family films of 1998.
Okay.
Overall, Mulan was the 7th highest of the year, which compared to the other Disney films in the Renaissance was deemed a failure.
Oh.
And it's like, but it's 7th
I know.
of all the films.
I know.
In
that year,
1998. Like, am I right in saying, did Titanic come out that year, or was that 97?
That was 97.
97. Like, I can't think of any other films that came out in 98. Obviously, A Bug's Life beat it. It's like, so there were only 5.
98, that's Shakespeare in Love.
So, like, 5 films
Yeah.
of all the genres
Mm-hmm.
beat this and Bug's Life,
Mm.
and this was considered a failure.
I know.
Elsewhere videos, it was released in 1999, and DVD came out the year after, in 2000.
Oh, okay.
Very early for a DVD, like what we think of. The Blu-ray was 2013, and obviously it was on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It had live action, which we mentioned, in 2020, and a sequel, Mulan 2, which came out in 2004. There was a planned Mulan 3, but it was cancelled when John Lasseter took over because he
cancelled all the sequels.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And after that, in the parks, in 1998, there was the Mulan Parade at Disney Hollywood Studio. And meet and greets include Mulan, Shang Yu, and Mushu.
Yeah.
I really want to see Mushu.
Well, last year's Chinese, so the Lunar New Year, I'm sure it was the Year of the Dragon.
Yeah.
And so Shanghai Disney and Disneyland California went all out with that and the parade for that, because obviously Mushu being a dragon. Yeah, we know that Mulan comes out now and again in Disneyland Paris, but other than that, there's nothing to do with Mulan in the Disneyland Paris park.
And there's not really anything to do with her in any other parts, apart from like meet and greet kind of
Is there
things.
not a China pavilion at Epcot?
There is.
But they don't have Mulan?
They have a dance, performers dancing.
Okay. I hope we get to see Mulan when we're there, because I've not met her yet.
No, I think there's...
But, you know.
I remember her being mainly in shows and stuff like that. I think she's in Fantasmic. Might be wrong.
She is, because they do... let's get down to business.
And on that note...
Yes, Stephen, we need to see the film.
A little pause.
Yeah.
While I go and watch the film.
I know. I can't wait.
I know. And then, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be back with our thoughts of the film.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure everyone knows roughly what I'm going to say.
I could do a complete
U-turn. I know. We'll wait and see. Right. We'll be back. Now, listeners, do you think Stephen's going to enjoy Mulan? Is he going to score this classic above a 3? Well, look, you've not got long to wait. But while you are waiting, Click that plus button to follow the podcast, and you can also follow us on Instagram and Threads at The Jamie and Stephen Show. Oh, and when you've finished listening, could you please leave us a review? We'd really appreciate it. Thanks! Right, we're back. We've watched Mulan.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to find out what you thought, Stephen, because you stayed awake.
I did stay awake.
You stayed awake.
What were your thoughts?
I loved it.
Yeah?
I've not properly sat and watched it. And
Yeah.
I was doing singing along.
Yes, not as much as I thought, but yes.
I was mouthing it.
Okay.
I didn't want to spoil it for you. I'm gonna give it a 5. you're looking at me
like you've just killed someone.
No, honestly, I couldn't fault it. For me, the reason I like it so much, I love the cast, I like the characters, I really like Mulan. I forgot how funny Mushu was. I like the songs. I know that they're only the first half of the film, for good reason. And it is a powerful point because all of a sudden, the fun musical type stops as soon as, the reality hits that, oh no, they really are in a war. Like, this is not pretend. They are in a war.
Yeah.
And that's when the music stops. And I grew up with kung fu movies, action movies, so, and a lot of the cast as well. So I think that helps why I like it so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I couldn't fault it. And considering as well, it's from a studio that hasn't been given a lot of credit. They've done side jobs or straight to video films.
Yeah, and a few shorts.
This was their first feature length animated movie. I think they did a really good job. Right, come on, Stephen. People are dying to know what your thoughts are.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
No. So, I didn't find the characters engaging enough.
Okay.
I did like Cri-Kee. I did like him and the dynamic between him and Mushu. I thought that was really well done.
Okay.
I thought the plot sometimes dragged and then just kind of went nowhere. Okay, they're singing the song like you say, and then it stops because they've found basically the aftermath.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of it. I know there's the avalanche, which I thought was quite good. But it was too quick. Like, something should have gone wrong with...
Okay.
And then the avalanche should have been like a secondary, like plan C or D or something because it just kind of, we don't even know what happened to the firework when it went up in the air. We just knew it was either Mushu or... And then it just got to like the emperor, and it was like, right, so this emperor has no guards. Like, none whatsoever. There was no one in that entire palace apart from him. They've literally just thought they've won a war.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking days after, we're probably talking a few hours after, if that. And he's like, I'm just going to go for a stroll. Invite this random dragon. Because I called that.
You did.
That big dragon face in the background of Shang-Li, I was like, what did I say? It was like,
something's not right there.
Highly suspicious dragon in the background. And then it ended with fireworks. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. There was... some of the animation was really good. Some of the animation was really bad. Like, almost from the beginning. that first guy who came up, who was on the Wall of China, his animation on his face, awful. The Emperor, no, that was Hanna-Barbera for me. I was expecting Scooby-Doo to turn up. And then the big giant dragon thing behind him, and I was like, it's Scooby-Doo, honestly. If I'm not going to get a
oh God, Stephen!
Although the humour was fine, I think it overpowered a lot of the moments.
Okay.
And I mean a lot. And some of it was I like silly humour. But some of it was just too silly. There were certain noises that just didn't need to be there. It stopped making it fun, and it took away some of the impactfulness of things, because there was just jokes throughout.
But do you not think they did that so that it wasn't too heavy for kids?
In a way, but like for me, the bit where the avalanche and they've got the arrow and the arrow disappears out of his hand, I think the comedy, it diluted the drama. That should have been a scramble. It still could have been funny. They could have had a one-liner in there, but it should have been a scramble to get that. So rather than just being fools, they did what they could. And then he's just stood there going, oh, they're all going to die. It's worthless, the end of it all. And then the arrow lands in the hand. What it should have done is landed in front of him, into the rock, stopped what he's saying, and then they all should have grabbed it. Because having it too silly, it just takes away some of the danger, some of the excitement.
Okay.
So I don't know where you got your 5 from, but it's a 2 from me.
Oh, again, another 2!
Yeah, and so much so that I think I enjoyed Hunchback more.
You're not going to persuade me to change my 5. And looks like I'm not going to persuade you to change your 2.
No. Literally, I think I have to be fair. And although I didn't mind the music, and although I didn't mind the humour when it wasn't overpowering things, there was a bit at the end where Mushu kind of sets the bird on fire and it becomes a roast chicken.
Yeah.
What I didn't like was the noise that kept happening. That was a scary bird.
Yeah.
And by making it stupid, it took away the scariness of that character instantly. It wasn't, that character was no longer a threat at all, whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
but you've got to remember, it's for kids, not for adults.
It is for kids, but so, when I look back at all the other ones, you could say, well, Sebastian and Scuttle are humorous characters. Lumiere and Cogsworth, Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah, Abu and the Magic Carpet.
Yeah, but that humour is very confined to them. Whereas you wouldn't necessarily say that Ariel is funny, or you wouldn't say that Eric or the King Triton or Flotsam and Jetsam, or you wouldn't say any of them are funny.
No.
You might not even say that Ursula's funny. She's camp.
Yeah.
But the humour is contained to Sebastian, Scuttle, and to Flounder.
Yeah, it was in this as well.
No, you had...
Oh, because we had the soldiers.
There was so much. And even when Mulan was doing certain things, there were certain noises that made her character kind of funny. And then it was just constant. There was too much humour.
For you.
For that type of story. That amount of humour, I think, should happen in a Winnie the Pooh film.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was a 2 from me.
Okay.
I mean,
I think the humour in Mulan is the same kind of humour we get in Frozen and Moana.
No. See, I think that they get the balance right. I thought it was overdone.
Okay.
To be honest, and I don't want to criticise anyone's hard work on this, but it felt like a Disney Channel movie where it was humour. The stakes were high in the sense of the story, the plot, but the way that it was conveyed, there was just silly moments from all of the characters. And I felt that took away, because there was clearly something underlying there. The way that the horse was reacting to wanting to save Mulan, that I thought was really good. That was a side character showing the emotion it explained what was going on. You really thought that Shang Li would have killed Mulan, but then you had that silly old man character who was marking things out, who was comedy all the way through that scene, and it didn't need it.
Okay.
It could have been a moment of, oh, so when he threw down that sword and was like, a life for a life, you were like, oh, okay, because your emotions gone up to 100 and now it can relax. Whereas if you're laughing at something, your fear emotion hasn't gone up to 100.
Yeah.
So
the intensity.
Yeah, so there's nothing to come down off.
Okay.
So yeah, I was disappointed. I tried. I really did.
No, you did. You were focused on staying awake.
Yeah.
So
shouldn't have bothered.
Well, that's it. We've done Mulan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you glad Mulan's been gone?
I am. I was looking forward to it in the sense of this was a new Disney film from the era.
I
do really like 2D animation. So
yeah. So it was a big fat 2 from Stephen.
Yeah. It went from a 1 to a 2.
Okay.
So there's that.
Oh God.
Someone saying, "Oh, you scored over 20%," but it was like 20.0001.
To be fair, I gave Jungle Book a 2, so.
Yeah, I enjoyed Jungle Book more than this.
Okay. Listeners, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Jamie and Stephen Show.
Let's talk movies, music, and magic.
That's right, Stephen.
without it written down in front of me. I don't know where my pad went either.
Well done. You remembered.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed the insights and discussions that we had. And the new change. Changing it up.
Yeah.
With us doing the facts first and then going and watching the film.
Yeah.
Coming back and then revealing our thoughts.
Yes.
I don't know if we're going to do that for every film.
No, I think this was good for this film.
Yeah. We might do it again with another...
Do you know what? Neither of us really remember The Wild.
Should we do it for that?
Maybe we should grab some pizza and do that.
I think we need alcohol as well, to be honest.
Wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, I'll definitely be bringing a bottle of wine.
Yes.
If you liked what you listened to, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Leave a review. So if it's Apple, Spotify, you can also follow us on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky. And yeah, you can listen to the podcast on YouTube as well. And get in touch with us via email, thejamieandstephenshow@outlook.com. Yes. Right. I think I'm going to go home.
Okay. Yeah, now you've put that on and made me watch it. I think you should go home. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Good night,
shame on
Stephen.
you. Shame on your family. Shame on your gal.
So you like that bit?
Now I know the quote. Yeah.
It's dishonor. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Oh, it's not even shame.
No, it's not shame. It's dishonor.
Well.